Welcome back to BVarsity Live, everybody. Scott Cox is busy. What is that? Is that like just like
Schweppes? That's lemon lime.
Is that like Canadian Sprite?
No, there's no. It's a like what? It's what like rich people mix booze in. I think. I don't really know, but Hop loves it.
He drinks it straight, huh?
Yeah, he right out of the can. It's disturbing.
Okay.
You don't want to know any more than that.
Okay.
Since 1783, they've been making that.
You were regaling us with your tennis adventures from the past
Yeah, I
weekend.
have many of those. I'm having another one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I'm old, and every time I play, something in my body fails horribly.
Are you a better tennis player now than you were in high school?
Absolutely. But to be conditioning, no. But God, equipment, strings, rackets have come so far.
Did you play with wood?
I did.
Play with wood rackets?
Actually, I barely missed the wood. I did string a lot of wood rackets, but we were in the fiberglass age.
Yeah.
And there were still a few metal rackets around, aluminum and that type of deal, which was just the worst idea anybody ever had. Graphite was still 10 years out, and that really changed everything. So now, but you learn a lot. I've learned to play old man tennis where you learn placement is key, and you have to know where to be all the time. It's a lot more cerebral.
It's all angles. It's almost like playing, what's the game?
Squash?
Highlight?
Yes, squash. I was about to say bocce. Yeah.
Yes, it's very much like bocce. You get a lot.
God, you sound old.
That's a kind of pasta.
Okay, we have Trevor Horn on the phone. Trevor's out at Hart Park covering the league cross country meets. So for something completely different, Trevor, how's it going out there?
Well, it's great. I just didn't realize I was going to sit here and wait for Scott Cox to talk for 5 minutes about something nonsensical, but that's okay.
Do you ever not complain about things, or is that just like a natural state of being for you?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now I've been looking at your results. Marcus Moda winning the SWL boys race. Is that the surprise of the day so far out there?
Yes and no. I mean, he took second last week at Kern County championships here at Hart Park last Saturday. But kind of, I think more the surprise is kind of, Miguel Morales kind of giving away the SWIL title, the individual title to Moda. I mean, Moda's a very good runner, and I think he said last week kind of gave him confidence coming back up. But I think the one big surprise is the top time of the day went to Pedro Cruz Penaloza out of Arvin earlier in the day, actually in the morning with the SSL. He ran a great time. He ran a 15:02, which is by far the best mark of the day. So the Arvin senior kind of coming away as, the top, non-McFarland runner in Kern County, if you will.
But
so,
then that was on a different course, correct?
No, they actually ran it here
earlier
in the morning. I got the old list. I thought they were still at Riverwalk. They actually ran that race before noon today. So they ran, SSL was here earlier in the day, and then all the Yosemite League started at 1 o'clock, and we actually just had the final race here, which was the SYL boys race, which Anthony Moronis out of Ridgeview won that one going away. So
now these are all 5K races, correct?
3 miles.
3 miles, so just short of 5K. Lewis ran his first 5K on first 5K.
It was horrendous.
First 5K in a while. What time did you get there, Lewis?
What hospital did you go to afterwards?
Exactly.
Well, Mercy Southwest was the nearest one that they nearly had to admit me to, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Did you clock under 30 minutes?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was 67th overall. I was 9th in my age group, but
That's respectable.
It was awful.
That is respectable.
It was awful. I got beat by Aaron Perlman of Channel 29, so I was disappointed with that. But
come on.
I know.
You need to carry the flag for TBC.
He's a genuinely nice
guy.
Hey,
is Scott Cox still in the office?
He is. He's building the Great Wall of Schweppes over there.
You should let him know that his animal creature is actually about 20 feet away from me right now, and that is a peacock.
Oh. Trevor wants you to know that he's standing 20 feet from a peacock.
Which I think is his animal creature, one that kind of throws his feathers up when need be.
Wow. All right. Have you made him? Show you his stuff yet?
No, I will not. I tried to do that when I was 6 years old. We had some peacocks who used to hang out in our backyard. I was about 6, and I tried to do that. Puffed up, ran towards me, and I said, I'm not going to deal with these guys ever again. So I keep my distance.
Is it fair to say that you, Trevor Horn, are afraid of peacocks?
I'm not going to allow you to have that joke on me, Zach. So, no, I will not say that.
Okay, well, moving on then. Moving on. Are you going to be able to hang around for football predictions, or do you have to go cover more races?
No, we're all done. I got everything all covered and ready to go. The races here are done, so I'll just stay here in the cold, in the dark, and talk to you while you're cozy and warm.
It's not dark yet. I can see out the window. It gets dark early, but not that early yet. Okay, so we'll keep you around for predictions then, but I do want to go through sort of real quick volleyball playoffs tonight. You know, you're going to be at Centennial. The Golden Hawks, for a long time this year, were number one in the section. They did not look good last week in finishing the regular season, and Central is a pretty good 6th seed. Should Centennial
this is not a gimme tonight.
Yeah, should they be on upset alert tonight?
Yep, 100%. I think that the Golden Hawks is still one of the top 3-4 teams in the Central section, but Central was right there for a long time, and then Clovis East kind of ran away with the track there at the end. But that Central team for a long time was widely considered one of the top 3 or 4 teams, 4 or 5 teams in the section. So, this 3-6 matchup might be the best one we'll see in the quarterfinals, and I'll be there because I'm really, really intrigued in this one.
And meanwhile, starting at 6 o'clock, actually, the earliest start is Frontier at Clovis West in the 4-5 matchup. How about Frontier going on the road? Is that a possibility for kind of Kern County and the SWL to stick a feather in its cap?
No, that's one of the hardest things to do in volleyball is to travel 2 hours and then play in front of, a playoff matchup like this where you're probably going to have 30, 40 fans, and it's going to be a hostile home crowd for, the Golden Eagles. So I don't know. I mean, Frontier is a very good senior-laden team, but I don't know if they can pull away the win. Just like, 3-2, 3-1 in that range. I'm not saying it's not a given, especially after finishing off on a high note with the win against Centennial to finish out the regular season. I don't know if it's necessarily, kind of a foregone conclusion that Clovis West would win this one, but I think it's going to be tough for Frontier, sure.
I think that, Frontier, I watched them play most of the Centennial match, and they're very quick. They're very well coached. They run a lot of stuff that a lot of teams don't run. They still run like angle and things like that. And they can kind of those backside sets and run their offense very, very well. So, you can't take them lightly at all. And it was interesting. It was kind of a feast and famine when I saw them against Centennial. They did gut it out and get that win. But I think they're a very dangerous team. Centennial, the last few times I've seen them, they seem to lack sort of that finishing effort. And they can be a little soft defensively, too, which is a problem.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if Centennial can stop that slide. Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah, well, and Zach, you and I were talking about it last week when they lost to Liberty. In those first, two sets for them, it's kind of that one thing where they don't really have that go-to big hitter like most top teams have. And maybe that's the biggest issue for Centennial, too. I'm not sure. But it'll be very interesting tonight to see if, can the SWIL go 3-0 in those matchups? Because the only other one that doesn't have an SWL team in it is the Buchanan Clovis East matchup between the 7 and 2, where you kind of figure that Clovis East has got the a pretty substantial edge there over the Bears.
Did you just schlep a Schweppes?
I did. It's pretty vile.
Okay.
I don't want to know what you guys are doing.
Let's just leave it as Scott Cox and Lewis Amestoy are in the studio with me, and I'm just going to sit back and watch.
This is the best BVarsity live ever. It really, it's something else.
It's the best one Scott Cox has ever been on. That's
Bingo.
for sure. When do you go to bed, Scott? I mean,
About 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Who are your guests tomorrow, by the way?
Go all Abe Simpson on it. Still Ian Kirov's going to be here from the Symphony.
Oh, very nice.
Long Brian Burrow, that'd be a good time right there. And Amy Adams will be joining us, not the super hot actress.
But will she sing, though?
I'm going to make her sing. The doors are locked from the outside, babe.
That was a question I asked.
Croon for us.
Will Amy Adams actually sing?
I'll make her sing.
So you go to bed at 8:30. Do you see the end of Monday Night Football? I mean,
Yeah, I will on a Monday night. But the games have not been good, so there's not really been that many compelling. The last Monday night game, I mean, people fell asleep at the beginning of that who get up at a regular time of day. Yeah. So it's not really a big loss for me.
that's true.
Since you're here, let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
This is a football-related question. We're kind of all over the map here, but that's okay. Trevor, you still there?
I'm falling asleep, but
Listen
I'm here.
carefully. I heard today that football may be at a tipping point and that children may be banned from playing football. What do you think about that idea? Scott Cox.
There's a movie coming out. They just finished making it. It's called Concussion.
With Will Smith.
With Will Smith and Luke Wilson and a bunch of other people. And it's about the story from Dave Duerson through Junior Seau. And it might be the Blackfish of football. It may be that big of a deal.
I have to say Luke Wilson as Roger Goodell is one of the greatest miscasts of
I
all
think
time.
Owen Wilson would have been better. Way funnier.
That would have been funny.
Right?
Trevor, your friend up at the Sacramento Bee wrote a story that Roger Blake.
Yeah, I read that story by Joe, and I think this is coming straight from Roger Blake when he had the full CIF media phone call conference last week, and I think that what Roger Blake was trying to say is that there is that tipping point because what is it? I think there's 10 deaths this year in high school football or high school and youth football, and that's 10 too many. But you've got so many other where I think Brian Vanderbeek, who used to write for the Modesto Bee, went along and said, yes, you have 10 deaths, but you've got so many other lives that are kind of, if you will, socioeconomically saved by the sport because you get kids that won't normally stick around in school. And this is that kind of that which way are you going to go on the pendulum when it comes to this sport? Are you going to stick with, well, it's purely the health and safety of these kids, or are you going to say, well, for the good of, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of kids over a decade, that it may save them from not getting a high school education where they will stay in school because they want to play on the football team because they know they have to stay eligible. They know they have to go to class in order to be able to play on Friday nights. So I don't know if it's going to be.
But is that real quick to your last point there? Is that not true of any sport?
Oh yeah, but I think that football is that one sport where I think you're going to get more male athletes that are on the lower spectrum of socioeconomical swing there, if you will, and that are going to be because football programs, the teams are much larger than basketball programs, obviously.
That is
have
true.
10 to 15 kids playing basketball, where you have, 40 to upwards 80 kids playing on the varsity level. That doesn't count the 40, 45 kids you have at the JV level and the 50 kids you have on the freshman level. So you're looking at the pure numbers of the sport compared to the other sports. I'm not going to, we're swimming. You're not going to have a lot of inter-school high schools that are going to have swimming programs that are going to be prevalent, but you're going to have a football program that's prevalent. So how many kids are you going to have saved? And I think that, I've heard studies where they're coming up with new mouth guards that they're learning that a lot of the jarring in that brain when it comes from, those hits that cause concussions, it comes from the lower jaw hitting, the upper jaw. And so they're coming through with mouthpieces that may be able to kind of ease that a little bit more. And so I think maybe concussions can go from there. What about putting that extra padding that they wear during 7-on-7? Do you put that on the inside and or outside of the helmet?
Or what if you get rid of the helmets? That's been the other big conversation that you wouldn't maybe see.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
The
but
helmets.
then you're just saying, why don't we just go to flag football?
Well, you go back to rugby.
But you go to like a rugby style where the idea is the kids will not go full speed to hit each other because they know that it's going to hurt.
Guys,
the helmets
all
kind of
comes
protect them
down-
from the pain, and so then they go full speed, and they're hurting themselves without even realizing it.
Well, and they need to be taught at the younger level how to, properly tackle, how to run with the ball properly, how to play the game correctly. And if they're not playing the sport, like for me growing up in the Sacramento area, I didn't get to play tackle football until my freshman year in high school. I was regulated, and funny story, Joe Davidson was actually my junior high football coach. We had to play flag football in junior high. Yeah, Joe was my junior high
Let's take a
football
break.
coach. That's how I first met Joe.
Yeah, well, we got to take a break, Trevor. This is a good discussion, but we're going to get to some actual football games after the break. I want Lewis to describe your level of worry with Scott pyramiding Schweppes cans on that camera, though.
That's fine.
You're all right with it? All right. I just don't want, it's starting to bow a little bit. And, I'm just going to laugh if the thing comes crashing down. That's all I'm saying. We'll be right back on BVarsity Live after this.